meeting. Sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mahalo, everyone. The Wahiawā-Whitmore Village Neighborhood Board number 26 meeting is called to order. We are going to do one small thing, if everyone can bear with us, but please allow me to interject one little thing before we begin. So today is the last board meeting for our board member, Dean Harvest, who has been years long with the neighborhood system. He has been an employee at the Neighborhood Commission Office, and he's been a board member for many, I'm guessing about 15 years, 13 years, somewhere, 19? Since 2006, he's been on our board. So tonight, he told us unexpectedly that he is saying aloha to us. And so if you would allow me to just give him a lei, and then we'll start our meeting.
No need.
But you don't have to stand up.
Oh.
We're same height, so he doesn't have to stand up.
Okay.
You want to say a few words?
Thank you.
You want to say a few words? You can.
You know, I just wanted to thank everyone on this board that has served with me many times. And little do people outside this board know that we are really like a family up here. We fight, we argue, we agree to disagree, but that's what makes our community strong. And you make it stronger by being out there and letting us know what the issues are. We bring the issues forward on your behalf. But I would like to remind the community, we are here to serve. We are not your servants. We do not get compensated. We don't get any types of payment in any form or way. We do it because we love this community. And that's what the Wahiawā is all about. Wahiawā is a very special, it's a vocal point of the island of Oahu, and it carries much mana here in this island, on this section of the island. So mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, and we'll pick on you for the rest of this meeting. Just kidding. Thank you, everyone, for allowing us to do a little diversion on the agenda. So now we'd like to call it, we're in section 2, our first responder monthly reports, calling up our fire department.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Bump. This is Matt Cheap, representing the Wahiawā Fire Station. Sorry, let me know if we get a call. Yeah. Report for June 2025. We have statistics for representing the confirmed number of incidents in the neighborhood board's geographical area for the previous month. For more details on these incidents and the mapping, please visit the fire response map on our HFD website. That's at fire.honolulu.gov under the news and info tab. And if you have questions, you can email our public affairs and media liaison at hfdnhb@honolulu.gov. So for May 2025, we had 1 confirmed structure fire, 2 wildland brush fires, 4 nuisance fires, which include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle. We had 3 activated alarms, 74 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle collision with a pedestrian, 10 motor vehicle crashes or collisions. And our tips, fire safety tips and announcements for this month. HFD is excited to announce a launch of 2 new public data tools on its official website at fire.honolulu.gov. The incident trend dashboard and the fire response search tool. So the incident trend dashboard gives residents easy access to 5 years of emergency data by neighborhood, including fire, rescues, medical, and hazardous materials incidents. With interactive maps and charts, the dashboard helps communities better understand emergency trends in their areas. The fire response search tool replaces the previous response mapping tool, which is no longer supported and was taken offline. So this new tool enables individuals and entities to look up specific emergency incidents in which they have an interest in or may have been involved in or affected by. This tool also enhances transparency and provides residents with efficient and direct access to incidents in a secure and accessible format. So this is developed by our HFD Planning and Development Division with the help from City and County of Honolulu Po'okela Fellas intern. These data tools reflect our ongoing commitment to transparency, innovation, and community engagement. And again, that's all at fire.honolulu.gov under the News and Info tab. That's all I have to present. Are there any questions at this time?
Okay, questions from the board for fire department? Go ahead, TJ.
Hi, thank you for coming and thank you for the report. Where was the wildfire at? You mentioned there was one in May?
Two.
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 Where they at?
Do you remember where any of them were?
In the brush.
We might not have been on duty that day. I don't recall. Yeah, I don't remember at this time. Sorry.
I couldn't recall any either, that's why.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, Kunia Camp had one.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
yep,
in our
yep.
area.
Okay.
And then Kunia Farm Lots. That's not really in our area. I'm not sure if they're counting
Yeah, it
that.
kind of borders on our.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the edge of Waipahu and
Right.
Wahiawā administrative area. Those are the only two I can think of, but there may have been a smaller one that I don't recall at this time.
Is Kunia Road part of your area?
Yes, so
How
Wahiawā
far
Fire
down?
Station, our admin area goes all the way to Hawaii Golf Course. Hawaii Country Club,
Uh-huh.
sorry. Yeah, that's the cutoff between our area and Waipahu's area. But
Have you-
sometimes we go past it, sometimes they come in our area. It's
Right. Have you had conversations with anyone about the dry grass that's been growing along Kunia Road in that area? Because I know we just saw the fire on Maui again, the 500 acres. And then, of course, we've been seeing like the smaller fires here and there, but I'm wondering if that's something that HFD makes a report on or reports to anybody about the dry grass?
I can find out more info for you. I know the city and county has landscaping crews that go around and try to clean back some of the drier brush areas, along with HECO has
Yes.
crews that do that as well. We don't, but I guess we would probably contact the city and county and let them know that there's been a concern about a certain area.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from virtually? None? Questions from the community for fire department? Oh, can you come up to the microphone or you can use my,
Sure. It's fire.honolulu.gov. And it's under the News and Info tab. There should be a tab at the top that says News and Info.
okay. Any other questions for fire department? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, calling up our police department.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Scott Vieira from the Wahiawā Police Station. I'm the Night Watch Commander. And I'll go ahead and read the statistics for the month of June. There was 1 assault. There was 4 robberies, which is kind of higher than normal. So I checked on the 4. They're all related to one case. That was a case that went on social media regarding the special needs individual that was assaulted. So all 4 cases were generated from that one specific case. There were 6 burglaries, 1 unlawful entry into a motor vehicle, 79 motor vehicle collisions that HPD responded to, and the total calls for service was 1,189. I'll go out with the safety tip. I just wanted to let you know that we launched a gun buyback program. It's similar to the one that, I don't know if you heard, Department of Law Enforcement did the same thing. Wahiawā, our community policing team kind of spearheaded it. It's very similar, but we kind of addressed it more towards the kupuna. We go to cases every now and then, actually kind of quite often, where some family member had a gun, is no longer living or no longer wants the gun, and they just don't know how to get rid of it. So it just sits there. Sometimes it gets stolen or they just don't know what to do with it. So if you know of anyone that has one, if you have a family member that has a firearm that they don't want it anymore, they can call the Wahiawā Community Policing Team, 723-8710. Just speak to them and tell them you have a gun and they'll take care of it. And we also offer the same gift certificates. So you get like $100 full-length gift card for any pistol or shotgun, and $200 for any assault type rifle like AR-15s and stuff like that. So we just started. I think they got a couple guns already. It's just started. We're announcing it at all the neighborhood board meetings. But if you have any questions, call our community policing team. You can call me, Lieutenant Vieira, at the Wahiawā Police Station, and I'll point whoever needs to be pointed in the right direction. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Virtually, any questions for police? And from the community, any questions for HPD? Can I just ask you one quick
Sure.
question? 1,189, is that considered high for 1 month period?
It's a little higher than normal. And I know summer just started. Summer, we usually get a little more calls, but it's a little higher than normal. I think last month was, I don't have it with me, but normally around 1,000, sometimes 970 is kind of like typical for Wahiawā. A little busier than some of the other districts. Yeah.
Okay, and my other couple questions it relates to Avocado Street.
Okay.
So in this last month, I've called 3 times because of something that was going on in the area there. So the first one was that there was a man who was going into, like, you know how
It's boarded up
yeah.
now, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then they actually must have gone in, because right when it was a red light, so I was right there, right? And somebody came out of that building, and I
Okay.
thought that was locked up already, but so I called it in that there's people going in and out of that door.
Okay.
The second one was there was a gentleman early in the morning. This is like 5 in the morning when I was leaving. He had 4 of like the Menehune type blue water jugs, and he was filling up water from that pipe. So again, they must have got that door open because he was by that door and filling up water jugs.
Okay.
The third one was there was a lady and a guy in a white creamish color 4-door sedan type. And I'm not sure what they were doing, but they were passing out something to another car that was there. And then another car came. So there are 3 cars in there. I don't know what they're doing, but I called that in that it looked suspicious. So just wondering, when you get those calls, does that get logged in, or what is what is that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So any call for service, if you ask an officer to go check on it, we have to go, and they are prioritized. So, sometimes you might call if it's a call like that, like a suspicious. An officer might be on his way, but if there's a motor vehicle collision or like an argument or a fight, they might get rerouted. So it might take a while. I apologize for that, but our calls are prioritized. But if you call and ask for someone to check, we have to go. And if you don't see an officer, ask the 911 dispatcher what's going on, or ask for a supervisor, but we have to go to those.
No, that's perfect. That's all I needed to know. Is
Okay.
that get logged in, because
Definitely.
that's an
Definitely.
outstanding issue for this community.
Yes.
And I want to make sure to get logged in that there's still activity happening in that location.
Okay.
Okay, right
Yeah, I
on.
know we've been talking about that, and it's kind of frustrating, but
Yeah.
like I said, if you guys see stuff, keep calling. We'll
Yeah.
check, because once we don't start calling, you guys saw what's going to happen again.
Right.
It's going to be back to square one.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the calls.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good then. I think that's it. Thank you very
And
much.
Thanks, Dean Harvest, for your service, both in the department, the board.
Yeah.
He was my teacher for a little while at Lelua, so
That's right. For
We-
those who don't know, Dean used to work for HPD as well. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
sorry, I ran
Thank
you
you.
off over here. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Make me feel old.
Okay, everyone, if you don't mind, I need to do the roll call for our, I'm gonna have to do our roll call for our board. Aaron? No, not here. Sylvia is on the mainland. Michelle?
Here.
Thank you. Dean is here, Joe is here, June is here, Matt? Matt. Okay, TJ, you're here, and I'm here, so we're good. Okay, you got it. Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, moving on to section 3, then update on the Queens Medical Center. What was listed was a temporary discussion that I was having with Robin over at Queens. She's not able to make it tonight. And so we're very, very fortunate to have 2 other individuals to join us tonight, because we know Wahiawā is far, but we so appreciate your time because I have been getting a lot of questions on what the latest is. So please welcome Michael Holmberg, who is a Director of Facilities at Queens, and Diane Motley, who is the Director of Clinical Side, on the clinical side. Round of applause to welcome them.
Good evening, community members and the board.
Mike Holmberg, Director of Security and Facilities at Wahiawā and West. My partner here is Diana Monley. She's the Director of the ED, Emergency Room. She's also a nurse. We're going to give you an update on Queens Wahiawā and some of the things that we've been doing in the last couple months.
Hi, thank you. So the biggest things that we have going on for Queens Wahiawā, because I'm over West and Wahiawā, but here at Wahiawā, we just had our 1-year anniversary. We had a big celebration on May 30th and celebrated just the great things we've been doing there in the last year. So since we have taken over Wahiawā, their average visits per day were about 32 a day, 32 patients a day, and now we're up to 61 a day average. So we've seen over 18,000 people in that 1 year. So we're doing great things out there and looking forward to expanding. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mike because he's going to let you guys know what's happening in the building over there.
Yeah, so we continue to make improvements on the property. We started last month. You would have noticed the long-term care building has come down. We also are in design phase and construction phase of bringing in a interior CT instead of getting rid of that mobile CT if you ever been on the property. We also are doing an ED expansion. We're going from 12 rooms to 24 rooms to increase the number of patients that we can see here at Wahiawā. So those are the 3 priorities that we have undertaken in the last year. Any questions?
Oh, you're okay. Go ahead, Joe.
Where are you expanding the ED to?
So what we're doing is, everybody familiar with where DLS lab was? It's kind of the backside of the ED. We're actually building a new lab. Okay. It's where the doctor's lounge used to be, and where medical records used to be is going to be the new CT. Once we do that, the ED expands to where the old lab was. So we're just taking up more of the footprint and making more improvements. No, we're using the existing walls, but we are adding new facility infrastructure. We're doing electrical upgrades. We're doing air HVAC upgrades to meet the current building standards and codes. Any other questions from the community or board?
Any other questions from the board? No, oh, go ahead.
Real quick, so what is the timeline on that as far as the expansion and when it'll open for use? Because you said that'll become part of the ED in the
Yes.
emergency room.
So we already started construction on the CT room. It's a 2-phase. We're doing a construction on the CT room, and we're actually are doing another construction for moving the waiting room, because we need to build a secondary waiting room because we're going to expand out the ED. So we're shooting for the CT to be open somewhere August, September, and then the real heavy renovation of the ED starts hopefully by November or December. Yeah. So 2026, new ED, 24-bed, new waiting room, expanded waiting room, new CT room, and new lab.
I'm sorry, new lab, you said?
New lab.
New
yes.
lab, right? Okay,
New lab.
correct. Okay. And you had a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for coming, first of all. I did want to just emphasize that with the value of property that Queens has there, I know future plans are to expand physically and logistically, but sometimes here in Wahiawā, plans slip through the cracks and we're not always informed. So if you could please just remember when new extensions are going to go up, new buildings are going to go up, anything that would change the facade of of Wahiawā Old Hospital, if you could let the board know, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, actually, that's a good comment. Robin wanted me to express to you folks that, we're not sure what we're going to do with that section of the property. But once Queens finds out what we're doing, we are coming to the community and coming to the neighborhood board and asking what type of services do you folks want to see? We're just not going to come here and take over.
Yeah, thank you. And I have to jump in on this one because Robin and I have talked about that multiple times to always keep in good contact, and which we have been. So, so thank you for that. Joe, you had a question?
I would just like to say that with the long-term center gone, it looks really nice to see the building like that.
Yeah, it was,
Looks like a hospital.
yeah, it actually is. And it's actually different when you look at it. You look at the old pictures that was there. So we plan to make that a nice green lawn, try and upkeep it. We got some work to do on the outside of, that butted up with our generator room. So I need to make that room a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and more secure. The roof right now leaks. So that should happen in the next month or so.
Thank you. Any questions virtually? Questions from the community? Can I ask two questions then,
Sure.
just as a follow-up? I want to say last month, I'm not sure, I don't have the exact date. There was something that happened. There was a big crowd at Wahiawā General. It honestly, just eyeballing it, probably 30 people standing out there. Do you know like what, we're just kind of there, because I got calls, like what's going on? Is there something like big happening? And so just wondering, I know you can't disclose, but just when something like that happens, and you have a facility like ours that's minimal, right? How do you handle all of that?
So probably, I don't know what happened for what you're speaking about, but usually when something like that happens, it's something that's going on in a family. Maybe
Correct.
somebody passed away and it's a lot of the family coming in. The way we deal with that is we use our security to help make sure that everybody's being, safe and orderly. And we escalate if we need to, like if it gets out of hand, it starts getting out of hand. But that's likely what happened in that situation. So when you see big crowds, usually it's something like that going on.
I want to agree with you, but there was some shouting, so yeah,
Yeah.
it was just kind of almost in the same time when there was a shooting here.
Yeah.
And so we kind of, and I didn't have any answers. So I just want to ask you about that one. The second one is, what is the relationship with EMS and Wahiawā General? Do you have enough access to them? Do they have enough ambulances that need to go out to respond? Because that's primarily what's really keeping the hospital busy is EMS.
Right. So right now, Wahiawā General does not have any inpatient units or anything like that. So we have to have a really good relationship with city and county and our EMS, because anytime that somebody needs to be admitted for overnight care, we have to get them either to our Queens Manamana or our Queens West facilities. So we do have a good relationship with them and we meet quite frequently. Is there enough? There's just never enough, I don't think. But, we're doing the best and we meet continually, just trying to make sure that we're allocating all of our resources in the best places possible.
So just to dovetail off that, the reason I brought that up is that I was asked by a couple community members, and they're elderly. And so they were asking, like, are there enough ambulances? Because if we need to go, and they actually had an incident like a few months ago. And so they wanted to know for the rest of Wahiawā, because there are a lot of elderly, are there enough ambulance services, because it only comes from one area.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have enough for what we're dealing with right now. We could definitely use more, but that's not really us that would be purchasing that,
Understood. Thank you. And then Dean and then Joe.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say, I belong to the competition, in Moanalua, but because of my health issues that I've been faced, there have been some times where I've had to call 911 and be taken to the nearest medical facility. And I just appreciate the co-op between you folks and my medical caregiver, because it was great. The transition was so easy. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do.
Thank you for letting us know that. Thank you.
And Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, I understand that the ambulance traffic in the past year has been much higher than it's ever been. I think you guys are doing a great job with meeting the ambulances. So
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's it. No other, any other questions? Final call. Okay, thank you very much for coming out. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
providing the information update. They'll be happy. The people who called for it, they'll be happy. Thank you so much.
Good, thank you.
And moving on to our next item on the agenda is our monthly reports. So if I can call up Nicole. I'm sorry. Oh,
Aloha
hi,
board.
Nicole.
Aloha board, thank you for letting me give this report from Rep. Tokuda's office. The written report was sent earlier. It contained information about Rep. Tokuda voting against the Republican Big Ugly Bill, also known as the Republican Budget Bill, which cuts $880 billion from Medicaid, $313 billion from SNAP, and $500 billion from Medicare, while increasing the national debt by $45 trillion. She also introduced legislation, the GHOST Act, which was a gun hardware oversight and shipment tracking act to help law enforcement prevent the spread of ghost guns. And she condemned Department of Labor's decision to pause Job Corps operations. We also wanted to let everyone know that the Congressional App Challenge is officially open to students in the 2nd Congressional District and encourages kids to learn coding and computer science. For more information on that, please visit the website tokuda.house.gov. Would also like to note that Rep. Tokuda voted in favor of H.R. 2483, the Support for Patients and Communities Reauthorization Act, a bipartisan legislation that strengthens the federal response to the opioid epidemic and expands access to treatment, prevention, and recovery services, particularly in rural and underserved communities. And I am happy to take your questions, most likely back to the office to get a response.
Thank you, Nicole. Question, Dean, go ahead.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for attending tonight. If you could, please take this back to the congressional member. And my question really has to deal with the modification and upgrade of his $400 million jet that he accepted. I don't think the taxpayers should be responsible for that because he claims he's going to take that with him to his private library at the end of his term. So to me, that's a personal gift. And I've never known any president to be able to accept a personal gift while in office, or any elected official that can officially accept a gift of that magnitude. So if any modifications and upgrades should be done, it should be at his expense, not the taxpayers. And I think Congress should move on a bill to denounce that gift. Thank you.
Thank you.
And any other questions from the board? Virtually, anyone? Michelle?
Yes, hi, thank you. Thanks, Nicole. I was, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this. In 2021 alone, over 107,000 Americans have died of overdoses. Fentanyl is linked to roughly 2/3 of all those drug overdoses. So given that, I was wondering, why did the Congresswoman vote against the HALT Fentanyl Act?
I have no clue. I don't know about that, so I'll have to bring this back to the office. Do you have a legislation number?
Oh, gosh, I did. Do I have legislation? It is not in front of me, but it's called the HALT Fentanyl Act. And I know Case voted for it and Jill Dakota voted against it.
Okay. I'll get you a response.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll come to the board, okay?
Thank you. Any other questions virtually? And from the community for Congresswoman Tokuda's office? Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Nicole. Okay, moving on to our U.S. Army. Army's up. Oh, Navy, I'm sorry. No, nobody's here for, I'm sorry, I apologize. Okay, calling the Navy. Hi, Daniel.
Good afternoon, everybody. I can start with some Army news as well as Navy. The Department of Defense has ruled that we are currently in the Force Protection Bravo, which is an update to our previous force protection measure. It really doesn't affect the community in any way. It just makes it more stringent to get on base to show identification. But that's something that all the bases in Hawaii are undergoing right now for at least the next 30 days as a result of world events that are taking place right now, just out of abundance of caution. But as a result of going to Force Protection Bravo 2, our shipboard tour program that we do on Saturdays, that has been put on hold for at least for the next 30 days as well. So we'll consider that a hiatus. Once we are given the green light, we'll open the ship tours back up again for community members that are interested in seeing the United States Navy ships. We have the United States Navy has been helping with the La Lima program here for volunteer opportunities. If there's any thing in the community that would benefit from some assistance from the United States Navy, largely with volunteer opportunities, we're always open for that. TJ we're currently helping out her program, helping feeding needy families here for the next several weeks. And we look forward to continuing that as well. We did a lot of good work, and I think she'll talk about that later today. All right, but that's all I have for right now. If anyone has any questions, though, we're open for that.
Go ahead, Joe.
Is the force protection upgrade national or is it just Hawaii?
It is DoD wide, but for our sake, though, all Hawaiian bases will be impacted by it.
And do you know if it's related to Iran and Israel?
It is out of abundance of caution, considering what is taking place out there, just to ensure the safety of the people that work on base and live on base.
Thanks.
Okay. Any questions virtually for our Army? Navy, I apologize. I apologize. No one's online. And from the community for our Navy. Okay, we're good. Thank you very much for being here, Daniel. Okay, moving on to our Board of Water Supply.
Aloha, Chair, Board, residents, and guests. Congrats, Dean, on your release from Neighborhood Board. I don't want to say prison. Thank you for all of your service. It's appreciated.
We weren't holding him captive when he said, congratulations on your release. We weren't holding him captive.
Just small kind, maybe.
First time president.
For our water announcements tonight, there were no water main breaks in the Wahiawā-Whitmore area in May. This month, we are announcing our annual water quality report. So every year, well, all the time, we work hard to ensure the water that we serve is safe to drink. We conduct thousands of tests on water sources and our distribution systems to ensure that the municipal water meets and exceeds all federal and state safe drinking water standards. So traditionally, we've been sending the results to customers in our annual water quality report once a year. And we also have it online. But effective July 1st, 2025, we're going to be providing this report on a biannual basis. So the report is now going to be issued in July and December of each year. They will be mailed to residents, but you can also go online to boardofwatersupply.com and click water quality reports, type in any address that you're interested in anywhere on the island, and you can see where your water is coming from and all of our tests, anything that we found in it, or anything that we haven't found in it. If you would like a copy of the water report translated to a language other than English, we also have that available. So you can contact our communications office directly at 808-748-5041. And with that, I'm happy to take back any questions or concerns.
From the board, go ahead, Joe.
I know you're a Board of Water Supply, and not EV. Do you have any knowledge on what's happening with the sewer bills?
I do not right now. I know that it's still kind of with council, but I'm hoping that maybe Kevin will have an update when he pops on. If he's on. Oh, he is on. I see him on there.
Hi, Kevin.
Sorry for the bus tread marks.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Would you be able to help us out on this one?
Yeah, so, well, no, unfortunately, I can't do anything about the sewer rates, but my understanding is the CD1 has been, CD1 FD1 has been approved, but it's not, the final ordinance hasn't been signed off on yet. So, we're still kind of in a holding pattern.
Thanks,
Okay,
Kev.
yeah, okay, thank you for that. Go ahead,
Sure.
Dean.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for coming and thank you for reaching out to me. Sorry we were playing phone tag.
It's okay.
But first of all, please thank your entire staff. Kathy, Keone, and all of them in the past years that we've worked many projects together. Also, the project I still wanted to approach you on is still an open community project, so we can hopefully hook up on that, and I could talk to you about more on that. But I did want to thank Ernie for a lot of private and personal acclamations that he's accomplished in the Hawaiian community. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. And to all you folks out there, thank you for providing the life of the land. Mahalo.
Mahalo back at you, Dean. Thank you.
Any other questions virtually for BWS? Okay, for the community or from the community? Okay, I do have one question if you don't mind. Sorry.
No, no, you're good.
Any update on the landfill issue? Because I haven't seen anything or heard anything lately. So just wondering, it's been kind of quiet on that. So just wondering if by chance you have any update or heard anything or.
So the landfill placement decisions are not BWS Kuleana. However, Kev, those tread marks are coming back. He might have some updated information.
Okay, I appreciate that. I just want. All right, I appreciate it. We'll get back to Kevin when it's his turn. Thank you very much, Nicole. Okay, we're gonna move on to our Department of Transportation. Is Fawn online? Fawn? Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to residents' concerns and community announcements. Anyone who has any kind of announcement, please come up to the microphone. You have 2 minutes to describe your event.
No, just move the mic down. Just talk.
Aloha. Aloha. Good evening. Thank you, Chair, members of the board. Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. I've been before you several times. Here for an update on the Hawaii State Farm Fair. But Chair, if I may go a little bit further, your last question, Board of Water Supply, I did raise my hand. The landfill, HB 969 did pass. It's waiting for the governor's signature. Essentially would restrict the landfill out here in Wahiawā. So
Okay,
thank you to the
HB
board and many 969.
19, perfect, thank you.
So we did pass out a map. I'm here as an update. The Hawaii State Farm Fair is on. You may have seen it already. It is where we described it. Nothing has really changed from the last 2 times it was here, but it is an update. July 12th and 13th. That's a Saturday and Sunday. Saturday from 9 to 5, 9 to 7. I'm sorry. At Sunday 9 to 5. The reason we go 9 to 7, the extra 2 hours to accommodate the 4-Hers from across the state. That's when they have their livestock show in the evening. The map that I provided shows the layout of the fair, but more importantly, I'm here for some updates on traffic. We are going to, like I said, the last 2 times, traffic is top of mind. The fair is next to Kahikani Park. If you've been out to Whitmore, you've seen it cleared. Continue to work on it. We anticipate being on the fairgrounds the beginning of July to start setting up tents. We will be out on July 18th, completely out. Again, we have a right of entry. We have an agreement, MOU with the state of Hawaii, with the Agribusiness Development Corporation. That's not our land. It is state land. So we are, in essence, a tenant there. The idea, as we talked before, the permanent fairgrounds, and other agricultural related activities to honor the rich history of agriculture in both Wahiawā and Whitmore. So a couple of things that we're doing. HPD, as I said, we do hire HPD. We anticipate at least 6 right now for traffic control throughout the entirety of the fair, starting about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, although the fair doesn't open till 9, and till maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, because traffic does thin out towards the end. It's the beginning of the fair that really has a lot of traffic. We also are in talks with the Navy. So as you can see, we're using Saipan Road. Okay. We don't want traffic to bottle up in Whitmore Village where the housing is. Saipan Road, in and out. We are working with the State Department of Transportation also, as well as ADC, to see if we can get off of Kamehameha Highway, also, and use their land between Saipan and Kamehameha Highway as a parking. There are issues because there's a ditch and there's berms. So even if you can park there, we need to mitigate and get people across. Yes. So we also use elite parking. We use we pay thousands of dollars for private parking. TJ, we'd still love some volunteers. But we use elite parking because they do these big events. Again, the idea is, if you look at the map, the fairgrounds is 4.5 acres. Parking, a little bit bigger, but there's a lot more space. We want just people to come in. We want them off of Whitmore, off of Saipan, into the fairgrounds so that we can minimize traffic. We're also, we'll be putting up electronic signs, billboards. We usually put them out a week in advance just to let the area residents know and people who utilize Kamehameha Highway and Whitmore Avenue that there is a farm fair coming up. We are also in discussions on, and I think we talked about it last time, remote parking and shuttle. Now, how would that work? We're still looking at different options. Again, we don't want to contribute to more traffic. We know that it's going to be traffic, and we ask for the community's patience for this first year. It's going to take us a little while. We'll have some hiccups. So we know that we are going to be an impact to Whitmore residents. We are going, at the very least, those that are right around, and we know people are going to park on the street, so we're going to try to see if we can put up no parking, offer some tickets. And we're actually looking at maybe the entire Whitmore community. We do want to offer free tickets, students, children, keiki free, so it doesn't matter. It's adults. It's $5. There's no charge for parking, which should actually expedite cars coming in versus stopping them and having them pay for per car, per person. We're also using, you've already seen it, our media, social media. We have paid TV news and paid radio news. So we're going to do our best to tell folks, if you can come around, different ways, how traffic is going to go. Whenever we do our news, we're going to do our best to discuss traffic and how to mitigate that as much as possible. So a couple of the spots that we're looking at, maybe in Whitmore, even Green World Coffee Farms, Ohana Parcel by Mr. Savio, Hukaini Local, again, here in Wahiawā, the Value Added Facility, Transit Center, Ka'ala, Wahiawā, Lelehua. Wahiawā may be a little bit far, but we want to consider all options, right? We want this to be a great fair. It's a 59th annual. Okay, farm fair, we want the community to own it. It is a state farm fair, but it is in the Wahiawā-Whitmore community. So we understand that. We understand that we need to be good community partners in order to continue this, which we do want to continue. We don't want to move anymore. We think it's a great location. It honors a rich history of agriculture here in Hawaii, and especially in this region. So again, we look to be on site as far as setting up early July. We know that's 4th of July weekend. And then off, our last day will be July 18th. Usually we're all a little bit earlier. What we want to make sure we do is we clean up and we put the land back in a condition that we got the land in. Now, the one benefit that we hear from the community, we've been out there with Board of Water Supply, because we do have a meter on the fire hydrant right across the street. We are working with the City and County Parks Department with Director Thielen to get water off of Kahikani Park also. Working with our contractor, Royal Contracting and Pacific Pipe, and it will be temporary. The state at some point will put in permanent irrigation. So we're also working with Department of Transportation and Safety Systems to possibly do what we did in Kualoa, where you have temporary left turns so that we can have traffic continue to flow into Whitmore Village. So work with Department of Transportation, Safety Systems, the city, Fire department for the permits on the fire department. The fire lane is right between Kahikani and the facility, the ADC land. The police department, as I said, we have special duties, so it is HPD that we do hire. Aside from that, I'm here for any questions. And we know, we ask for continued support from this board.
Okay, thank you, Brian. I know I have a ton of questions, but board members, any questions? Okay, go ahead, Dean.
Thanks for coming, sir. This site that I'm looking at, is this going to be a potential permanent site? Or is this just for this event right now?
Yes, it is the potential permanent site for the Hawaii State Farm Fair.
Okay. Now, you talk about traffic. One suggestion is that you have two lanes coming out of Whitmore, one turning dedicated to turn right, the other to turn left. I would suggest, for have signage boards to indicate to push traffic going to H2 south, push it around Wahiawā. In other words, let them go out to the outside of around Schofield and come up that way off of Wilakina. That's going to help alleviate, because the short distance between Whitmore Avenue and Kilani Avenue is it's going to back up very quickly because it's only one lane. So if you're trying to get the hundreds of people that you're hoping are going to show up out in a matter of short time, you got to direct them two ways. So give them that alleviation of going around, and just don't say detour. Say H2, turn right. At the split, H2, turn left, so that they know where to go.
100%. That came up in yesterday's meeting, our farm fair meeting, and last week's farm fair meeting, where even for me, our office is in Kunia, where I think the two fires were. Yeah, going to H2 there sometimes is a lot quicker. So we understand, even with Carton Thought Bridge, right?
Right.
So yes, if we can direct folks around that way, and especially if they're coming from the west side, right? Go through Kunia Road, or at least jump on H2 and then hit H1. Absolutely.
Same thing
100%.
also on the
Great suggestion. Yeah.
same thing on the inbound. When they're coming off of H2, instead of taking Wahiawā off ramp, shoot them around Schofield site, straight down Wilakina to come around that side. And then they can make the left turn. Into
And again, I think that's why I referenced the media. We're going to make those recommendations. We think on any given Saturday or Sunday, there's traffic going down to the North Shore anyway, right? So we want to mitigate that. I failed to mention also, although we're setting up from early July, the traffic that we're concerned about, we have maybe 10, 20, 30 cars throughout the day during that period. It's not the setup or breakdown, it's those 2 days. So those are the 2 days that we're focusing on our traffic mitigation.
And June, and then TJ.
I just want to reiterate what our board member Harvest had said, that in addition to that being a weekend, so the military is normally not working. So at least the Wilakina Drive route should not be as busy, being that it'll be a weekend. Yes, you're going to have more traffic going to the North Shore because it is a weekend, but to balance it off, it's at least on Schofield, it's not a regular work weekend. And just to let you know, of course, you know about the NCTAM people are using that. So it's supposed to be using that route, I should say, to go around. That is their official route to get there, to go around Wilakina. So just to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you, June. And TJ?
Thank you. And thanks, Brian, for all that information. It's really important that the community hears about it. But I was wondering, have you folks considered Helemano Elementary School as a possible off-site parking lot? Because, I mean, I know you have to go through Whitmore Town to get to it, but I think they have they're quite spacious as far as parking. So where you may be reaching out to the schools in Wahiawā Town itself, maybe another option would be Helemano Elementary School as well. But reach out to me if I can help with anything else.
Thank you for the
Let me know.
suggestion,
No problem.
TJ.
Okay, and then, and virtually any questions? None? Okay, then Dean, you have another question?
Thought came to mind listening to everybody else. In your reach out, shuttle service, have focal points like the Wahiawā Transit Center on Center Street, where people, because of the weekend and parking would be available for at least about 100 cars there. Also, you can capture California Avenue, Lehua Street. These are just different side streets right there to have a local focal pickup point for any type of free shuttle that you folks may create. You know, that might be helpful.
Thank you, Member Harvest. I do have the Value Added Center, the Transit Center, Ka'ala Elementary, Wahiawā Middle, Lelohua High School, and Lake Wilson Freshwater State Recreation Area on our list as potential sites. But as along with TJ, we look forward to your input on where it may be appropriate sites. We did run shuttles, not at Koloa, but when we were at Bishop Museum. They weren't overly used, but again, we want to explore this year and see if we're able to do shuttles, just because there's so much uncertainty with a year one event.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have a question virtually. You have a question for Brian? There was a hand up for the discussion on the
Aloha, you can hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Can you introduce
Hi.
yourself, please?
Aloha Chair, Aloha Board. My name is Rin Lenchenko Rodriguez. I'm a community member of Whitmore Village.
Hi,
I just have a
welcome.
comment. Just because this event, the farm fair, this is like a rural village. This event just seems so, I read stuff like 15,000 people would be coming. And these are that land that is there now. That wasn't the initial plan that I saw from ADC's website. It should have been more in, but I guess there might have been something where it changed. Right now, it's right there next to the park. There's people's houses. That's like people's backyards, like, I'm just like, this is, and it's ag land. It's like, it's supposed to be for growth and for the community. I don't necessarily see that this is the place for that type of event. They're like how Dean said earlier in the meeting, this area gets so much mana that, it's just, I'm just speaking my voice because I've watched this for months, just go. And I'm like, now that I see the ground being torn up like that, and to me right now, it looks like a mess because I drive by it every day. But I'm just saying, like, there should have been more thought to land usage and for ADC to allow it and keep canceling meetings and not letting voices be heard. I think that's sad. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you for joining us. Brian, did you have any?
No, we appreciate the comments, and again, it is a rural activity in line with agriculture. We do understand. Some of the neighbors through ADC and even while we're out there did comment that they knew we were coming, but also that the work that was done was very helpful because it cleared out some of the unruly activity that was there. What the future plans are for ADC, I can't speak to. I'm not part of ADC. It is a 2-day event that does last for several weeks. So we do understand. And again, we look forward to any input from the community. We were asked why we're looking for different sites. And this was one that was available to us, and we went through the proper channels. And so, but again, being from Mililani, being from a rural community, growing up, my family moved in 1978, I can appreciate any impact on any rural community, especially here in Central Oahu, which I do still feel part of. My family still lives in Mililani. So I do appreciate the comments, and we will do our best to make Whitmore proud.
Ms. Lenchenko, did you have anything else that you want to add or share with us? Okay. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. And Brian, any other questions? And before, I just have a couple questions. Any other questions? Okay, just quick kind. Because you're working with, like you said, DOT and everything, I just want to make sure that traffic flow will be reasonable in terms of, so will they be, adjusting the time for the traffic lights so that it's not backed up all the way back. Will there be any, you know what I mean, any kind of accommodations in that sense that, because my understanding is when there are special events, DOT or DTS, they, you know, can make adjustments on the timing. Yeah.
We have never done that, Chair, but we will ask, and that's why we also have HPD out there. We
Yeah.
we need to give a DOT, I mean, a kind of a laundry list of what we're doing
Yes.
from a permitting standpoint.
Yes.
So it's something I'll escalate that all the way to the director,
Okay. Thank you.
Director Sniffen.
And then bouncing off of what Dean mentioned about if you're going to do shuttle from Wahiawā, right? You're mentioning what from, and this is nothing, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but coincidentally, we just had the Wahiawā General Hospital people here. They've just demolished that area on the side, which is wide open on the long-term care side. And maybe that's a possibility to see if they would allow you to set up a shuttle from there. Because that side is big now. When they broke it down, it's a big space. It was a parking lot. Well, it still is a parking lot. Yeah, it's not being used. That's why. So if you want, I can reach out to them and just see if that would be a possibility that would help you out if you think you want to shuttle.
Absolutely, Chair, and you
Okay.
do have my contact information.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, we want to pursue and consider all options and what's best for the community.
And then the other one that I know of, I don't know too much information about, but I ran into a gentleman. They own that property that used to be a car shop, a car dealership. It was, you know, the old dry cleaners. The one in the back there. Yeah. So they, in the back, it's wide open. That they're actually trying to sell that property. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want, that would be another one.
Absolutely. We any additional sites that we
And
can.
yeah,
add
I
on
don't know if
this.
they might have sold it by now, but it was a couple months ago and he said, you know, anybody want? And it's a big property. And actually from that backside, you can see Whitmore.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if you're thinking of shuttling, that
Thank you.
might work for you guys too. Okay. What's that?
The value-added center is a good choice.
Yeah.
The value add, that's what it was called. Value add. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
That's the one on our list.
Okay. Okay, very good. And I think we're all good. Any other last questions for, oh, yes, go
May I
ahead.
make two more comments?
Yeah,
I failed to make comment. I did speak to TJ. If there are any community groups that are looking at potential fundraising, especially we want to focus on the Whitmore area, but obviously Wahiawā and even Waialua. Doesn't necessarily have to be ag related, but we do have educational booth space, but we also do have some food booths and some other volunteer opportunities. We welcome that. I can leave my number. I think I left it with you folks last time. You can call the Farm Bureau office. I can connect you with the committee member who's in charge of that particular area, be it food, be it education, be it even parking. So just want to make that comment for everyone listening, also the general public. And then finally, thank you again for your service on the board. I did want to single out Board Member Harvest. Thank you very much. I do recognize it's not lost on many of us that this is an unpaid volunteered position. So thank you. I appreciate it. And the Farm Bureau appreciates all the hard work that you folks do. So thank you very much. And thank you for allowing me the extra time to update on the farm fair. We hope to see all of you out there, and we will be sending an official letter also, which we normally do to the neighborhood boards that are impacted by the farm fair. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, board members.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Any other announcements under item 5, residents' concerns or community announcements? Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, Chair and Board and community. My name is Eric Nakamura. I was here last month as well, presenting an update on the construction of the new library. Want to give that update, and I want to introduce, of course, Stacy Kanishige. She's with the Hawaii State Library System.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. I just wanted to kind of give a quick update on what's happening with the library services for Wahiawā. So we are doing a soft launch of the pop-up that we are doing at the Wahiawā Shopping Center this Saturday. So it's going to be open from 9 to 4 is our planned soft launch date. And so the windows should be decorated by the midweek. So it'll identify it as the library's pop-up space. So we hope you can all stop by. The pop-up is going to maintain the same hours as the Wahiawā Library did. So on Saturday, it'll be 9 to 4.
You. And as far as an update on construction, I don't know if you guys seen, we just started erecting a site fence around the property. We're currently doing interior demolition of the library, so that's why you probably don't see much going on, but we're nearly complete with that. We'll be looking at doing finishing the site fence here this week and into next. And then we're looking at starting the structural demolition at the end of this month, going into early July. So that's the update I have on construction side. Any questions from the board or the community?
Any questions from the board? Yep, go ahead, Joe.
I'm surprised you're not pushing the new library card.
I didn't want to use up our 2 minutes, but I'm going to push the new library card and I'm going to push Summer Reading Challenge, which is why we're really wanting to open up that soft launch for the pop-up, because our Summer Reading Challenge started in June and it'll end at the end of July. Thank you.
Okay. And don't worry, we want the information. So if you need a few more minutes, it's okay. Any other questions from the board here? Okay, go ahead, TJ.
Actually, how do you get the new library card? I caught the tail end of the news story, and I think they said something about trading your old one in.
So all you need to do is come into the library with your old library card, or just having your library account information, and we'll issue out the new library card that the member showed. Yeah, so it's a blue card with our new logo on it. And you will have to change your library card number, though. So some people are holding on to their red cards because they've memorized their library card number. And if you want to do that, we actually have a little sleeve that has our logo on it that you can get, and you can put your red card in our new logo sleeve.
Thank you.
Do we get to keep the red one, the red card?
Do if you want to keep the number, because some people have memorized the number. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, I saw it. I just wanted.
Okay, questions virtually? I think Michelle had her. Michelle?
Yes, thank you. I wondered whether, since the last meeting, whether you took back our concerns about the appearance of the building being not cohesive with the one next to it and not really looking like Wahiawā.
Hey, Michelle. Yeah, so we did take that back, and we took a look at it. I mean, the intent was to mimic the same look. So ultimately, the CMU that's being erected, and you can see kind of now at the Civic Center, we're using the exact same CMU feature, same block, same everything. The biggest difference, obviously, is our metal panel system on the exterior. So that's different. That's for sure different. But the intent was to try to make it look, he said, we didn't want to make it look like the same building. We want to look a little bit different in the sense that it's its own structure, its own facility. But as far as connecting to the adjacent structure, that was the intent, is to just copy that same block there.
So could you give us maybe next month or something, give us another rendition of how it looks together?
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. We can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Maybe I can speak to, and we can have a presentation or something set up.
Okay, thank you. That'd be helpful. We do get questions on what is it going to look like, so that. Okay, any other questions virtually? None? And from the community here? None? Okay, I just have two quick questions. So you mentioned on Saturday 9 to 4 it'll be open, but what about during the rest of the week? What are the hours?
Yeah, so it's going to mimic the previous library's hours. So it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 12 to 7, Fridays, 11 to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to 4.
Okay, thank you. And it's limited, right? So in terms of what's in there?
It's a
right?
much smaller collection, but it was big enough for us to create a children's section,
Oh, that's
adult
what I was gonna
section.
ask. Yeah.
So there is a little children's section.
Okay.
And so if you've been to the previous Wahiawā Library and you saw the train set, we brought it over.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
cute. No,
so
that's as well. Will there be an adult section and a
there
children's
is,
section?
yeah.
Okay, very good. And then the other question is, what is the I guess what would be the anticipated opening date then? And just, I know it's a long shot, but because we do get questions of, well, how long will it take till we get a new library?
Yep. So we're anticipating opening in April of 2027 is our opening date.
2 years. Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions for our Wahiawā Library project? Yeah, go ahead.
Are you aware of any needs for the pop-up store from the Friends of the Library?
I think we're set to start now. We've filled it with just about everything that'll fit in there right now because we brought some of the furniture over. But once it's started and it's serving the public, if there is any needs, I'm sure the staff there will reach out to the Friends. But thank you so much for being.
I've already talked to Andrea and I'm meeting with her on Thursday, so.
All right.
Thank you, Joe, for all your help on that too, with the move out and everything.
Thank you both for
All right.
being here for the
Thank you.
update. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to go on to our next presentation, item 6 on our agenda.
Sarah?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to, I stepped outside with the representatives from the Queen's Hospital, but I wanted to recognize the Navy and Daniel Sanford. So we had our first call for Keiki a couple weeks ago. Daniel and his son actually came out and like us, stayed out there in the hot sun, and we got our first group of keikis filled with their foods with the Call for Keiki program. And last week we did 527 keikis got fed, and we're always looking for volunteers. We're at the freshwater park every Tuesday till the end of July. We ask that volunteers be over 16, come out with coverage shoes, and please bring water. But thank you very much. We appreciate all your support from the Navy and from the families that came. Most sincere aloha. Thank you.
Round of applause for that. Thank you very much. That's a great community project. Thank you, Brand. Thank you for the Navy for your participation, 100%. Very good. Okay, item 6 on our agenda, our presentation section, rules of decorum. Just a reminder, all participants at this meeting shall extend the spirit of aloha to one another. There shall not be any displays of disrespect to one another. Public comments can be made within the stated time limits and without interruption, unless the comments are offensive and or out of order and are not conducive to civil discourse. Our presentation tonight is landlord and tenant disputes from the Mediation Center of the Pacific. Our presenter is Roberta Hickey Gomez, the Special Programs Innovator.
Thank you so much
Hi,
for
Roberta.
having me here tonight. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you as well. Thank you again so much for having me. I'm going to bring up my presentation. Okay, can everyone see?
Yep, you're good. Thanks.
Excellent. Okay, so a little bit of history and background on the early eviction mediation program. We launched the program as part of Act 57. So this was a program that was offering rental assistance paired with eviction mediation. So our initial target was about 6,000 tenants who are in arrears on Oahu. Our success was we mediated about 1,300 out of 3,000 cases. We achieved an 85% agreement rate, and we kept about 90% of tenants in their homes. When Act 57 expired in August of 22, we continued forward with private funds. We began to use independent contractors as the program developed and moved forward. Now, the thing that is really interesting about the EEM, or Early Eviction Mediation Program, is that it's a neutral program. It's really there to help both landlords and tenants. So as far as a benefit to landlords, it reduces time spent recovering rent and navigating the legal system. So on average, landlords spend between 1 to 4 months in eviction processing, and that doesn't include time spent prior to evictions attempting to collect rent in arrear. It also saves landlords money spent in eviction, including legal fees, and that could be anywhere from $500 to $10,000. And those agreements that are made within mediation, they foster relationships and mutual interests, and they support rentals being left in better condition than when relationships break down and in animosity. If a breakdown does happen post-mediation, having that written agreement, while not a guarantee, shows the courts that efforts were made towards resolution, and this can be used to expedite legal proceedings if need be. We also know that it's a benefit to tenants, greater housing stability and predictability, and that's whether tenants remain in the home or if they come to a reasonable time frame for move out, both contribute to greater stability in housing, and either option allows for planning. Having fewer evictions on records for tenants can be quite impactful because oftentimes it can stigmatize them and it'll impact future housing decisions, including potential removal from Section 8 housing program. Agreements between tenants and landlords provide for greater ease in housing relationships, and it empowers tenants to be able to meet on equal terms with their landlord. Overall, it provides greater community stability in terms of houseless prevention and fostering fiscal responsibility and stability to access for other housing and financial resources. So as our program has progressed, we take up about 30% of the eviction cases that go to mediation. The remainder of the cases come from district court. So our program has grown since last fiscal year about 20%. So we're slowly starting to eat into that greater pie of evictions so that we are approaching them early before they get to court and resolving early. As far as our agreement rate, we have about a 93% agreement rate. And what that tells us is that when parties are willing to come to the table, we can find solutions for them. And we've had about a 60% increase in EM cases from Q1. The way the program works, it provides landlords and tenants the opportunity to talk with the help of an impartial mediator to negotiate agreements. If English is not a participant's primary language, we provide an interpreter. Meetings are held remotely through Zoom, and this helps to be able to schedule and find times that work for both parties. If a participant doesn't have internet access, we can provide access at the office. Before mediation, participants sign an electronic confidentiality agreement. Each mediation session is about an hour and a half, and it's at a time that's agreed to by both parties. And if an agreement is reached, the mediator will put the agreement in writing to be signed electronically. Just to note, this service is free. It's free for both landlords and tenants, and either one of them can request it at any time. It can be when there is an eviction notice that has been sent out. It can be prior to an eviction notice. It can be when rents are first in arrears. The idea is to really catch these issues early to be able to resolve in the best frame. In terms of scheduling, we can schedule within a 48-hour period, and typically cases can be resolved within a 3 to 5 business day window. And as part of the early eviction mediation program, we've also developed tools to be able to help landlords and tenants. One of those is the eviction calculator. The eviction calculator takes in specific details about a landlord's portfolio, how many units they have, the size of those units, the square footage, monthly rent, the costs to do like repairs and marketing, et cetera, and all of that. And it gives them a real-time analysis of what an eviction would actually cost them in terms of legal fees and all of the other fees that go into removing a tenant and then trying to find a new tenant to fill. As part of that, it gives a more stronger picture than just the abstract number between $500 and $10,000. This gives them, again, a real-time analysis of what this would cost them specifically. We also have tools for tenants, one of which is the budget calculator. We've worked on this with Hawaiian Community Assets to be able to create a budget programming that works for tenants that's local to the community. This helps tenants be able to understand, what their financial responsibilities are, and if they're able to make an agreement of the size that they're choosing to make, as well as is this housing situation the most appropriate given their finances. We've also been working on HB 1433, which is eviction mediation legislation that's gone through both the House and the Senate. We're currently waiting for Governor Green to sign off on it, but this would allow a period in which landlords and tenants can come together in mediation for about 10 days. We've also been working on tenant kokua hubs. The tenant kokua hubs are basically organizations in the community that people currently turn to and trust. They can ask them questions, and if they feel they're appropriate candidates for mediation, they can provide them a little bit of information on what mediation is, help them walk through a online intake form, and be able to support them with space if their community center allows for it. So a space that they can mediate from if they have technology access issues. This is a QR code for our program. So if anyone is interested, they can feel free to use this QR code if they are interested in a referral for mediation for early eviction. If not, you can go to our website at mediatehawaii.org. You can click contact and schedule mediation to submit a request form. It will take you to this form. It will ask for your contact information and a few other demographic details, the contact information of the other party, as well as a brief description of the issues that you're facing. I am happy to take any questions at this point.
Thank you, Roberta. From the board, questions? Yes, go ahead, Joe.
Without asking any specifics, but in the Wahiawā area, are you seeing a lot of business, I guess I'd call it?
Sure. In terms of clientele, I don't have the figures for Wahiawā off the top of my head, but I can look up those zip code demographics and I can email them to the board if you are interested.
I would be interested in saying that. Yes, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board here? Yes, go ahead, Dean.
How often are you involved with a referral from HPD regarding these landlord-tenant disputes?
So we don't receive a lot of HPD referrals, but that would be a good source for referrals. So if anyone is aware of anyone in HPD who would be helpful to have this information, we can certainly distribute flyers. We can send information over digitally, however is necessary. So yeah, I think that's a good way in which to reach the community as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Yeah, go TJ.
So since you brought that up, I can provide you with the community policing team phone number here in Wahiawā, and that
Perfect.
number would be 723-8710. Can't even read my own handwriting. 723-8710, and that is for the community policing team here at the Wahiawā police station. And again, I think it would be a great resource for them to have that as well. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
And so, Roberta, if you are going to make that call, we can give them a heads up to expect a call from you if you like. If so, it's, they'll know what this is about.
Yeah,
we did that. Yeah, no, we can do that. Yeah, because HPD was here earlier with their report, so they're always looking for partnerships as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Going virtually, any questions? None. Okay. And here, any questions? None. Okay. Okay, I think we're good then. Roberta, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you for sharing this information, which is very helpful, that you're helping a lot of people from the statistics that you read off. It's fantastic. Thank you very much for the work your group is doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll be in contact. Okay, moving on to our elected officials. For Mayor Blangiardi, is Kevin on?
Hello, Chair and board members, Kevin Auger. Let's see, so some quick follow-ups. Chair, on the 123 Mango Street property, I guess after the last board meeting, the DPP went out on May 23rd. And according to their inspector, there was no activity on the property. There was no water or electricity being provided to the building, and the building was secured and unoccupied. There's a fellow named Mr. Giovanni and his dog on the property, and allegedly he's there to keep squatters away and keep the property clean. According to Mr. Giovanni, that the owners have allowed Pastor Patterson to do a weekly food distribution in the parking lot. And so I don't have any other updates than that. There's no building code violations per DPP. And I don't know if there's been any recent activity since May 23rd.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay. A request for cleanup for illegal dumping. This was related to the Kalani Avenue site in Kohler Street. And ENV went out on May 22nd, and the inspector noted that the area was clear at that time. I don't know what the current status is, or if we need to continue to follow up on that. ENV indicated that if there's continuing questions or concern, that you can call Chris Gourlay, Gourlay. It's collection administrator at the ENV Refuse Division. And the telephone number there for Chris is 808-768-3407. Again, 768-3407. Chris Gourlay, Chris with a K.
Okay. And thank you for that, because I was going to ask you if there's an update, because the resident who is making the complaint called today to say all the rubbish is still there. The mattresses,
Yeah.
the couch is all still there.
Yeah, when I saw the note, I was wondering if they went to the wrong site. So it's Coa Street and Kalani, Chair?
It's right at the intersection of Koa Street and Kilani, right
Okay.
above the excuse me, right above the church. It's in that section right after the church. And then you see all the overgrowth. So you gotta kind of look behind all the overgrowth, and you'll see the mattresses, the trash, the boxes of things. I'm not sure what's in there, but
Okay. I'm going to give Chris a call myself in the morning.
yeah. And
Just
it encroaches over right after, she described right after the church area, right after that, it's the empty lot that used to be with Hawaiian Electric. And there's a for sale sign on that corner.
Is the refuse and debris on private property, or is it in a city right away?
It's on, what she said was it's behind, there's overgrowth.
Yeah.
So behind the overgrowth is where all that, there's several mattresses and boxes and all kinds of stuff, I guess, a hibachi and something else.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll investigate it. I'll give Chris a call and see what we can sort out.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, certainly. Did HPD give an update on the playground by any chance? I missed the first part of the meeting.
No, they've already left, but I was going to make that announcement at the end, but you can go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that they have a person of interest, but there's no other information as of today. So that's all I had on that. I don't know if Kelly's got anything more than that.
Okay.
Okay. And then regarding the sidewalks at Walker Avenue and Avocado Street, and there was a question of whether or not sidewalks could be installed in that area because it's currently unimproved with sidewalks. And the response that we got from DTS was that the city has currently more than 900 miles of missing sidewalks along our local roadways, and that the Oahu pedestrian plan from 2022 prioritizes missing sidewalks based on analysis that considers multiple factors such as bus routes, proximities to schools, and crash history. Unfortunately, the Walker Avenue and Avocado Street intersection there is not currently prioritized in the Oahu pedestrian plan for sidewalk improvements. So DTS, Department of Transportation Services, recommended utilizing the improvement district process, or the ID process. And I guess that's a method of financing the cost of the improvements. And under the ID program, both the benefiting property owners and the city share in the cost of the improvements. The ID program requires the community to initiate support for these improvements through their council member, as established in the revised ordinance of Honolulu, Chapter 14. Regarding the speeding concerns on Avocado, DTS will conduct an investigation, which will include a site inspection, a speed study, and a review of the area's traffic collision history. They'll inform the neighborhood board by the end of October 2025 of their findings.
Okay, thank you for that.
Certainly. And then there was a request, I think this may have come from you, Chair, regarding the walkways at Kilani heading up to Wahiawā Elementary in the high school. There was also a request regarding a parking sign or no parking sign that could be replaced at the corner of California Avenue. And then tree maintenance out in front of the Wahiawā Value Added Product Development Center. So those three items, we never got a response from DFM. I put a call into Gene Albano, who's the director of DFM, before I left the office today, but I've not heard back from him yet, and I'll follow up with him tomorrow. So I'll call Chris Gourlay at ENV and Gene Albano to find out what happened with these three issues.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and if I find out something sooner, Chair, I'll send you a text or an email.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I had for this evening, if there's any questions.
Okay, opening it to the board, Joe, Dean, then Joe.
Thank you, Chair. Rick, good evening. Regarding Walker Avenue, as you know, the state has put in a big investment in revitalizing the freshwater park there at the end of Walker Avenue. I would think it would be some type of safety factor that you folks might want to create, even if it's a kind of like the bike lane, some type of pedestrian lane that they can mark there on the roadway with the separation between possible, the old folks and the kupuna and people just walking, pedestrians walking to and from that park, because at the anticipation of what is going to be increasing traffic seems that what is really a hazard with pedestrians just walking out on the roadway and vehicle traffic moving about. So you folks might want to talk to TTS again to rethink their thoughts on that, because of the anticipation of more pedestrians going to and from the park, as well as just the neighborhood pedestrians that already walk that area. So I think maybe perhaps a painted line along one of the easements indicating a pedestrian walk area for safety might be really helpful. Saves, at least the city can say, well, we did this as a safety factor, if anything should come down to a suit or something, was a person within that safety area.
Yeah, good suggestion. We'll forward that to DTS and see if they have any comments on that. Is the freshwater park, is that like a main entrance to the
Yes,
to the park?
that's
That area?
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Maybe we need to, I don't know how often the pedestrian plan is updated, but it's something that should be.
That park is a state facility though, just
Yeah,
FYI.
yeah, aware of that. But still, if the access to it's on city county lands.
Correct.
Bring it up with DTS. Yep, for sure.
Oh, wait.
Great suggestion.
Go ahead, Joe.
On Keelani Avenue, right outside of our building here right now, there's a curve in the road with a crosswalk in it, and the street light above it has been out for well over a month now. Is it possible to get somebody to change that light?
Yeah, right. So right out in front of the building.
Yep, they're right in a curve in the road where there's a crosswalk, and cars at night have a difficult time making that curve if somebody's in the crosswalk.
Yeah, is it a stoplight? Three, yellow, green, red?
No, it's just a street light.
Oh, street light. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a DFM, so I'll bring that up as well tomorrow.
And coming back to Dean with another question.
Sure, Rick, real quick note. Today, as I passed Avocado Street, the property there that's in question, DLNR enforcement was over there, and one of the buildings was wide open. So whatever they had going, I don't think they took it down, but evidently they went over there to check the embankment, and just happened to mention that when they got there, the wooden secured panel was gone. So just to let you folks know, pass that on.
Appreciate that.
And that jives with what I was saying earlier, what I saw when I drove by. The door was gone and they're going in and out. But anyway, and TJ, go ahead.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hello,
Appreciate
TJ.
all the updates. And I just wanted to, I guess, dovetail off of what everyone has been saying. Oh, wait, look, my curls are going the wrong way. But anyway, so while we are talking about this avocado walker, we should also be including Olive Avenue in that area because it's heavily used by pedestrians, and in particular, that street along the backside of McDonald's. There are a lot of cars that speed there. And since COVID, there have been quite a number of accidents, both pedestrians and vehicular accidents. So I think if the city or the state will be looking at ways that they can help improve that area with the development of the freshwater park project, I think it would be a good thing to take into consideration. Again, not only Walker and Avocado, but also to add in Olive, which has recently become a four-way stop. So that might be something to think about. And then also, just to comment on what Board Member Francher said about the traffic light that has been out for about a month. Again, I cannot stress this often enough. And no, I don't work for the city, but the 311 app actually creates a very usable, very user-friendly app that everyone can use. Just take a picture of whatever needs tending to, submit the information through the 311 app, and it creates a number of reports that go to the appropriate agencies so that it can be, number one, tracked. And you can also see what the community needs in particular. So I think there's a way that you can go in and ask for the 96786 data from the 311 app. So it'll give you folks, Kevin, instead of trying to write down everybody's notes, if we learn to use the 311 app for what it was intended, because our tax dollars are paying for it, it's a very helpful tool to use. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much for that that punch, TJ. I appreciate that. You're gonna put me out of a job though. Won't have anything to do.
Never.
We'll
No, no,
we'll
we'll
add
keep-
we'll
we'll
add
keep
the
you
Olive Street to the, because it said DTS indicated that they were going to do a study or investigation that they're going to come back to us on, and also the collision history. So we'll add Olive Street to that as well. Just make sure that that gets on it. But thank you for the plug on the 311 app. I should have mentioned that myself. Mahalo.
Okay, any other questions for Mayor's office virtually or here? None? Okay. Having none, then Kevin, I saved the best for last.
Okay.
What is the update on our favorite property on Avocado Street?
You know, if I'm going to go out and personally torch it in another, this continues. I don't have any updates other than the last, the frustrations that we're all having. I know the DPP is trying to move forward to demolish the building at this point, given the fines that are outstanding. But I don't have a further update since last meeting for you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. No, I appreciate that. As long as, I know you're working on it and everything else.
Yeah, it's just
Okay. And then I am gonna excuse you from this next question because I'm gonna give it to our Kelly regarding, so Kelly, are you on? Okay. Kelly, so you're gonna get the big question of any update
I'm here.
on the landfill issue.
I actually don't have any updates either. Sorry.
All right.
But
you
I
and
will,
Kelly
but I,
share
but I
an
will look
excuse.
into it. So, yeah.
I just don't want to
Get you an
forget about
update.
that because, that is an issue.
No, not a
and I
problem.
know there's,
Oh,
I know there's
definitely
a lot
not.
going
We're definitely
on.
not
Yeah.
forgetting about it.
Chair
Yeah.
Ishikawa.
I know there's a lot going on at the legislature too, but I just want to make sure that we know what's going on with it. So thank you very much. So you can proceed. Thanks.
I'm sorry, Chair Ishikawa,
Yes,
may I
ma'am.
interrupt you? We do have HB from the legislature. We do have HB 969, if I'm not mistaken, that is awaiting the governor's signature.
Right.
And once that is signed, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe Rep. Peruso or someone from Senator De La Cruz's office can assist with the information. But once HB 969 is signed into law, it will prevent landfills from being built over our aquifers. So HB 969, you can look it up on the web. But if I'm not mistaken, the landfill, in my opinion, and I'm a nobody, in my opinion, I think the landfill is dead for Wahiawā anyway.
Okay. Thank you
I-
very much, TJ.
I can
Go ahead.
provide a little clarification if you like.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so the governor has already issued his list of bills that he is contemplating vetoing. The landfill bill
HB 969 is not on that list. So that means that he will not be vetoing it. And he doesn't need to sign it into law. It can just pass into law after a certain date. So after, I think, the end of June, beginning of July, it will pass into law and will be effective. So that will be a ban on citing a landfill on any ag lands that are rated A land, and then also over any important aquifers. So really grateful to my colleagues for supporting that measure.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you very much for that update, Representative. That's great news to hear it from you. Thank you very, very much. And so I'm going to go back to Kelly.
Aloha, Chair, members of the board. Kelly Anaya from Councilmember Matt Wyer's office. Just a couple of things I wanted to highlight that the City Council completed its review of the administration's proposed budget package. This bill passed, or the final budget bills passed third reading on June 4th, full council meeting, and is with the mayor for his consideration and signature. Couple updates too. I know you guys were talking about the Wahiawā District Park. What I heard was the Parks Department is aiming for this Friday for a, I guess a grand opening ceremony, I guess if you want to call it that. But I'm sure you've probably already seen, but they've already been working installing the donated play apparatus, and this is from Inspire Play Hawaii. And the company did pledge $52,500 in equipment and installation costs. So we are grateful, to the City Council did approve the Parks Department's request to accept the gift. A couple other things. Councilmember wanted to mahalo the Wahiawā Lions for their annual 2025 Outstanding First Responders of the Year ceremony. We also wanted to recognize Lieutenant Brian Navarez of Wahiawā Police Department. He was named HPD's Lieutenant of the Year. Iliahi Elementary May Day Festival, Councilmember was happy to be invited and to be able to participate. Each class had a great performance and showcased their talents and their hard work. Also wanted to mention the Wahiawā Honganji Mission Celebration for Peace. Councilmember was able to speak with Stephen Miwa about his father, Larry Mira's incredible journey, who was in Japan at the time of the Hiroshima bombing. He does have a book coming out, which is a collection of his father's diary entries, and Councilmember does look forward to reading that when it does come out. And just a couple updates regarding the legislative updates from the last couple meetings. I did mention about Bill 15, which provides financial relief for local families with the state cesspool conversion regulations. The mayor did approve that bill on May 28th. Likewise, for Bill 29, which extends the real property tax exemption period, the mayor did sign that bill on May 28th as well. And then a couple updates from last month's meeting. I believe board member Michelle reported that the fans are not working and there's only I believe one speed in the Halikoa room. I did submit a request, but I have not heard back from the Parks Department. Likewise, just wanted to let you guys know I have been trying to get an update regarding the transit center clocks. That's kind of like an ongoing thing. So I did submit a request for a status update, but I have not heard back from them yet. And then board member TJ mentioned about the tree at Kane and California Aves, the one that's fronting the Value Added Center. I did submit a request for that, but I have not heard back from the departments as well. And that's it for me. If anyone has any questions for a council member, I'd be happy to take them back.
Thank you, Kelly. Questions from the board? Go ahead, Joe and TJ.
Yeah, you mentioned the bus depot. There, not only the clock, which is not working, but the side of the building, especially the side facing the gas station, has got a lot of black smudges all over the wall. It needs to be cleaned, pressure washed.
Also, just to add to that too, just wanted to let you know, we are working on the lights as well. I believe the lights on the side of the building are also inoperable at the moment, so not a problem.
Okay, TJ?
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for your information tonight. But Kelly, I just wanted to know, I do know that there is a council meeting tomorrow. How can the general public, I don't know how to put this lightly. How do we continue to support Councilmember Wire in his current position? Because I do know that he and a few other council members are being threatened with losing their leadership positions. So how as a community can we support Councilmember Wire in his to stay in the position that he is in right now?
Thank you very much for your support for Councilmember's office. We do appreciate that. I can go ahead and put a link in the chat where you can go ahead and submit testimony for that.
And what
Thank
time
you.
is that meeting?
I'm sorry?
What time is the meeting?
At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock.
2
Okay.
p.m.
Thank you. And do you know if they're taking live testimony?
I would imagine that they would. I mean, it's like another council meeting, but
Okay.
it's called special because it's not at the regularly scheduled time. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'll go ahead and put that in the chat.
And so that is online testimonies are going to be allowed.
I would imagine so, yes. I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me, but yes, it's like a regular council meeting.
Okay, thank you. So all of you that are out there in our community, and maybe you're from another community and you don't like what's going on because Councilmember Wire, among others, voted against the sewer fee charges that came down actually. So if you would like to support your council member in their current positions, please, it is very important that you go online, go in person, but support testimony that will actually support our community members as we go forward with the EPA regulations that are going to come down in 2050. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions? Go ahead, Dean.
Hey, friend, how are you?
Aloha. How are you?
I just wanted to say thank you very much for all your help and everything with issues that I brought forth to the council member and your staff, and you've always responded in a timely manner. And I just wanted to say, I know it's a thankless job, but thank you very much.
Thank you. I was going to say the same to you, but I got your number and I know where you live, so I will be tracking you down the next time I'm in Wahiawā.
I'm moving
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Okay, I'm sorry, any other questions virtually? None. Any questions here? No. Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. Moving on to Governor's
for having me.
report. Governor's report, is Rosemary here? Okay, moving on to Senator De La Cruz's office. Mama Carmen.
Here, Chair.
Hi, okay, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, thanks.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So first, I just want to start with a follow-up from last board meeting. I know that TJ wanted me to speak a little bit about the traffic report regarding the Central Wahoo Agriculture Food Hub. And so, Chair, I emailed you today the full report. I don't know if you received it, but it's a 136-page report. So I was just gonna go over like some of the basics of it. But it was released on May 5th, 2023 by Fair and Peers in partnership with UHCDC. And so they did a study that the traffic percentage distribution. So 30% of the traffic would be coming northbound on Kamehameha Highway. 55% of it would be coming south on Kamehameha Highway. 5% would be to and from Whitmore Ave, and then 10% would be on the Whitmore Avenue residential roads. And then a big issue would be, because it's a regional kitchen and food hub, the truck schedules. So they'd be on non-peak hours because the kitchen and warehouses would be going almost 24 hours a day. So it'd be from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. and then 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then there'd be a later shift of 8 p.m. to midnight. There'd be 2 driveway entry points, one located just after Saipan Street. This is where the trucks would turn in to reach the warehouses and food hub. And then the opposite, the second driveway would be the opposite of, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, Ihi Avenue. And then for the driveways, the first one where the trucks are coming in, there'd be need improvements. So there'd be a separate lane on the eastbound road to turn right into the driveway, and then on the westbound there'd be a refuge lane for the northbound to turn left onto that road, and then driveway 2 would be where they would put in a crosswalk for pedestrians, and that's where they would direct guests. And then I was unable to get a parking in the report. There's no parking, but I will follow up and see if I can get anything about the parking for the workers. And then yeah, that's basically the studies. And then I know there's been a concern of the royal palms on Palm Drive. They were sprayed last month from May 12th to May 16th. They treated 89 palms on Royal Palm Drive and 10 on Kellogg Street. They found 126 beetles, and the next time they'll be sprayed is 4 months, September 2025. And then just senator in the district, he attended Leila Hua graduation, and last week he led a complete staff site visit of all the projects happening in the district. And I'm happy to answer any questions and concerns. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Questions from the board? TJ?
Thank you for the information. So I wanted to know, I understand that, like what you just said, Senator and his team were in the Wahiawā looking at projects. I wanted to know what project is happening on Makaweo Avenue that the senator and his team are interested in.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what street that is. I'm sorry.
Makaweo, Makaweo, because I got calls from the neighbors of a particular address where they wanted to know why Senator's team was there, because it's a residential area that is near the Our Lady of Sorrows property. And one of them had asked if this was going to be some kind of kauhale or transitional house or something along those lines.
Oh, yes. I was actually there at that. I was there at that property. So what happened was, the person who was selling the property, was claiming that a state entity was buying our property, and so we went to investigate it because usually the state doesn't buy residential properties like that. So we found out that the department or the Office of Housing and Homeless was looking at it for a potential kauhale. So your information was correct.
Thank you. And there actually is a state-owned property at 37 Uluvehi. I'm not sure if it's 37 or 67, but it is a state-owned property. You can look up the records, and they do have a, it is a residential property, and it does have a, and any of the board members can correct me on this. I think it's a transitional house or maybe a clean and sober house, but that was where some not good activities had happened a couple years ago. So I guess their concern was that it was going to be another transitional house or clean and sober house in their at their adjacent property where you folks were at.
Yeah, I can give you more information about that next board meeting.
Great. Or if you could email the chair and provide that information to her, I'm sure she can share it with all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. That works. Yep.
Okay, any other questions from the board here? And virtually, I see a hand up. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Thanks for the update on the palms on Palm Drive. But because some definitely look like they're dying. A few of those have almost zero palm fronds on them. And it dawned on me that on private property right off the, very close to those palms, there's other palm trees that look like they're dying. So I know you can't be spraying on private property, but doesn't it kind of defeat the purpose? Because the bugs just hop right on over. I mean, just throwing that out there. So maybe some kind of program is needed for that. And then the other thing, I read in Civil Beat that the New York Times reported that there was $24 million in political contributions that have come in since 2006, tied to government contractors, which is about 1/5 of all donations. So according to Civil Beat, it was a senator that refused to release House Bill 371, the pay-to-play bill for a vote. So I wondered why he did that.
I can bring that back to the staff and find out. When was this article written? The Civil Beat article? Just so I can
It was real
follow up
recent.
with it.
I
It was real
don't have
recent?
a
Okay.
date, but I know it was
Yeah, no
recent.
worries. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can look
appreciate
into
that.
that.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay, any other questions virtually? None? Any questions here? Okay, then I just have one question, Charles, if you don't mind. Any update or status you can provide regarding the bridge the bridge into, from Whitmore over into Wahiawā? What is the status of that project?
Oh, are you talking about the pedestrian bridge?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So I was there last Monday. There was a delay because they needed to move the water line, and so DOT and ADC are in the process of moving the water line, and that should be complete by July, and then construction will continue as scheduled into phase 1.
And what is the timeline on phase 1?
If you give me 1 second, I can pull it up on my phone. Or maybe I have it right here.
Well, you can give it to us next month. I just wanted to know
I
about
have it right here.
Okay.
So it would be the end. It'd be the end of August, August 28th.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Any other questions for Charles? Anybody?
Yep. Chair, I just had one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
And this had to do with the bills around the foster care system. I understand that it was, sorry, I have my notes here. That there were 2 bills that died in the Senate regarding the foster care system and things of that nature. Are you able to, maybe at the next neighborhood board meeting, are you able to bring back any information on about what the senator's thought process was for not allowing that bill to be, I guess, eventually become law?
Yeah, both of those bills died in Wham.
If I'm not mistaken, there was also an article in Civil Beat too about that regarding the foster care system, and that was on June 11th, actually, last week.
Okay. Yeah, I can look into that and give you a response next board meeting.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Charles, I think we're good. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And moving on to Representative Peruso.
Hello. Hi.
Thank
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
Okay. So I wanted to just start by reiterating that HB 969 is most likely going to become law. And then also, I wanted to move right into an issue that we haven't really discussed during this meeting yet, but I'm hoping will become a topic of conversation, maybe on one of the agendas. for this neighborhood board meeting because, and it is what's happening around the development on Ka'ala. So on June 3rd, we had a CUP minor meeting, a community meeting really about the CUP minor that the developer is seeking a modification for. And he's seeking to put gondolas up on top of Mount Ka'ala. And this project aroused such resistance and anger from the community way back in 2019. TJ and I organized a community meeting at Wahiawā Library, and it was standing room only. It was packed. And so we know that this community cares about that and doesn't want to see that kind of development up on Mount Ka'ala, not only because, we understand that peak is sacred, but also because the kind of traffic that the developer openly acknowledges they expect. So they're expecting 1,300 to 1,500 visitors per day on Kakunahua Road. So anybody who's ever driven on that road understands what that will mean for local residents and the dangers that it will pose. So I want to really encourage our community to start to get involved in that conversation. The community leaders on the North Shore have created a Facebook page. I think it's Kukiai Ka'ala. And they are also encouraging folks to submit testimony to DPP, asking them to reconsider their approval of this permit. So they had approved it back in 2019. And they're asking, the community is asking them to really revisit that approval. So that's one issue. And then just as a quick update in terms of what's happening in the House, obviously the session has ended and we provided kind of an overview of the legislative outcomes in our newsletter. I encourage folks to subscribe to our newsletter. You can go to representativeamypruso.com to sign up. We're going to be sending out fewer hard copies and we're doing more through email so that we can reach more people. Our district has basically doubled in size and with no commensurate doubling of our budget. So we have to make do with what we have. And there's also been a reorg, as I mentioned, of the State House. People have probably read about it in the newspaper. We have a new finance chair and I will be on finance as well. We have a new chair of the Agriculture Committee as well. So right now we're really preparing for possible special session. We're looking most likely at November to address what's happening at the federal level around cuts to Medicaid and SNAP. And, we had been preparing for the budget that the US House had passed. And now it looks like the US Senate is calling for even more draconian cuts to Medicaid and SNAP. So we will be looking at the extent to which and how we can backfill those areas that affect our most vulnerable communities. And that includes areas around affordable housing, right? So we have federal housing vouchers that will be affected, all kinds of important supports, our social safety net in effect. So that's really what we've been working on since session ended. And I imagine that work will continue up until session starts. But we plan on having community meetings, so we can have broader community conversations about these issues starting in August when people kind of come back from their summers. So I'm open for questions.
Wow, thank you very much. That's a big issue. And I remember that, the Mount Ka'ala one. I do remember that. And yeah, nobody was in favor of that. And I just can't even imagine that it's still being discussed. I can't imagine that's.
They approved it. So now we have to figure out what to do.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely, we can schedule something for meetings and stuff because we do need to get everyone aware of what's going on in that one because that would be horrendous. That would just be not good. Thank you very much for that report. Any questions yes, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Amy, regarding the website for the Mount Ka'ala issue that you said North Shore was putting out, could you restate that?
Actually, it's a Facebook page. That's where they're posting all of their information. And let me pull it up really quickly so that I give you the correct information. It's called, it's called Kukiai Mauna Ka'ala.
Kukai.
Kukiai Mauna Ka'ala.
I'll help you with that, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any questions? Or just June?
Just to clarify, although that Mount Kala project is not in the Wahiawā Neighborhood Board's area, but it is part of Representative Peruso's area. So that's why she has an interest in it. Okay, just for people to clarify for other people.
Right,
And-
but I think that the reason people showed up in such great numbers from Wahiawā when we talked about it in 2019 is because they understood the impact it will have on traffic going out to the North
and
Shore.
that's a dangerous road, yes.
Yeah, very dangerous.
And forgot what I was gonna. Oh, yeah, that's all then.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you, June. And then Dean?
Thank you, Representative, for your report on that. And the gondola or cable car situation dates back to World War II. There were a number of mountains throughout, but most of us remember during World War II, there were a number of cable cars and gondolas set up to traverse the mountaintops during that time. Coco Head is the most known, and of course, the Stairway to Heaven. The situation out of Ka'ala is a little bit different, and what I hear from my community, and I say my community being Native Hawaiian, being Coco, is that again, they're claiming it's sacred, okay? Mount Ka'ala is not sacred. There are sacred sites on the mountain, but the mauna itself is not sacred. Don't misinterpret the word sacred and sacred sites. There are several legends that pertain to Mount Ka'ala. But, when businesses come to Hawaii to venture into our income for the state, we do have to keep some open-mindedness. Were the facades with what they want to do, to be honest with you, just to let you, I don't support it, but I do like to listen to their presentation. And if the board has never received any presentation from them, perhaps I would recommend that we ask a presentation be made.
Back in the day, earlier we did, but not.
But
now it's
no, but see now that back in the day it was changed to what they want to do now. So that's why I'm saying to give us an update. And then Representative Peruso has, like June said, that's her part of her district, so she's privy to certain information. But I thank you, Rep, for all that you do for us, and not only just Wahiawā, but the district of Lihue, because Ka'ala was a mountain that is special in my heart, because some of our family is traced back to Kahaleopuna. They're on Ka'ala Peacock Flats. So it is something that, we would like to see maintained much better by the state and the historical sites. But I would be interested to find out, how did they get approved for this? That's the question I ask. How was it approved?
So it was my understanding that there was an interim director of DPP at the time. And I think that there just was not enough scrutiny. So, and not enough understanding of the actual site. So I don't know. I think we have yet to have that question fully answered.
Thank you. But do continue, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Representative, just as a quick clarification, the information you have currently, is there anything that's immediate or is it something like you said that now that we have this information, we can put it on our agenda, et cetera? But is there something immediate about this that we need to be aware of?
We are asking people to send in testimony to dpp.gov to state their position and to voice their concerns about the project, or even, and if they support the project, that's also a legitimate thing to articulate. But I think that there hasn't been enough public conversation about this. The developer has not come and done a presentation either at the North Shore Neighborhood Board or at the Wahiawā Neighborhood Board, or, I mean, this also affects our neighbors over in Waianae, and it hasn't been discussed over there either. So we know that if something can happen on our side, can also happen on their side. So they're also concerned and they're also getting involved. So it isn't just I mean, I know that June raised a legitimate concern about this not being in the Wahiawā Neighborhood Board's purview, but a number of neighborhood boards are actually putting this on their agenda because it touches our communities.
And I agree with that. So I'll probably get in contact with you later for a bit more information, because then we can kind of get everything squared off. Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate
go ahead.
that. Thank you.
Yes. And Dean, one more.
And a quick follow-up. Two things, Rep. At the last Neighborhood Board Commission review of its plan, it was passed that any neighborhood board could raise issues in a neighboring or another neighborhood board. Prior to that, it could not. And but just for your information, it was passed by the commission that we could raise questions and concerns outside our privy. The other
That's
thing
good
that I
to
want
know.
to raise and alert the board to is that atop Ka'ala Mountain, Mauna Ka'ala, is a freshwater stream that there are only 120 native Hawaiian snails grow. These are so delicate and so rare that, they had thought actually they were extinct. A lot of them were extinct, but they grow in this stream atop Ka'ala. And what you're saying true is that it goes from Wahiawā side to Waianae side. So it does affect the other side of the mountain. So please keep that in mind. And I thank you all for your time and effort.
And thank you for your service, Dean.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I think we see Michelle.
Yes. Thank you, Rep. Amy, for talking about this. I saw that there was a meeting at Wailua on the beginning of June. Did you attend that meeting? And was there a representative from this group that's trying to do it?
I did attend the meeting. I spoke briefly. It was covered by Hawaii News Now, I think. And the cafeteria at the school was packed and all overwhelmingly in opposition. And the developer did not even show up. They had been invited. They said they had a scheduling conflict. And they didn't even bother to show up. So we're waiting for them to free up their schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other, go ahead, June.
Given all the conversation on this issue, I'd like to make a motion to place this on our next agenda then.
No, I already said
Right.
that. Yeah.
No, I
yeah.
mean, and the reason why I'd like to put it as a vote is that being that this is not in the Wahiawā neighborhood area. And I think so if we can vote on it tonight, but we will need what, 6 to vote on it?
Yeah,
to-
but, yeah, the core, yeah, but we can still, we don't have.
Is it
to
4
vote.
out of 5 or 6?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2/3.
Yeah, but we don't have to vote on it to put it on our agenda.
No, I mean, to even consider it. Rather,
No, but yeah, we don't have that. Yeah. It doesn't require that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I was saying, earlier I said I'll call representative, ask a person.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you, everybody.
Mary
Any-
Shikawa.
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks, Rep, for your aloha, not only for our community here in the 96786, but also to the community down below and the area that will be affected by this developer's project. And I do want to say that, yes, I was there as well. And I had the opportunity, not 72 hours prior to this community meeting, to actually walk into Kaukonahua Stream and walk alongside the base of Mauna Ka'ala and see the destruction and the desecration that is taking place by this developer. And Rep did say that the developer did not attend the meeting. We also need to say that DPP did not attend the meeting. And the reason, and I'm not privy to all of the details, but my understanding from listening to the conversations that have been held is that the developer wants to downsize his project to avoid having to meet the minimum requirements of public hearings and public communications, such as presentations to the neighborhood board. So I think it's important that we remember what Board Member Harvest said, among other things, about the 120 native Hawaiian snails that are going to be affected by a project like this. I think it's also good to know that the developer does a lot of his work in the evenings and on the weekends when DPP is not at liberty to send an inspector out there. While we were at that meeting on June 3rd at approximately 6:45 in the evening, I was sent videos and pictures of the developers working out there on the land to desecrate that area. And if any of you know about that area, and it is part of this sacred land, this area of Lihue, the water is polluted. We don't know what their plans for mitigating the water that is being harmed by all this movement of soil and of rocks. So I think it's important that us as a neighboring community really do become knowledgeable about this project and stand with our fellow communities that are opposing it. But most of all, understand what the project is and why we are steadfast and holding ground to oppose this project. Thank you. Was not done because of the type of permit that he took. And I'm sorry, so
Yeah, what was the question, please? Just
Board-
real
yeah,
briefly. What was-
Board Member Francher had asked if we know if there was an EIS that was done. And I was not aware of one. But again, if he is going to downsize the project, that means it's going to also not allow him or not mandate or require that he come before the community or the neighborhood board to do a presentation. So I think it's time to hold his feet to the fire and say, if you're going to build in our community, then you need to follow the rules that everybody else does.
Understood, and that's how we're gonna work on that. And you know, if it's an EIS, we can get a copy of it too. He can't hide that. I mean,
Yeah, there hasn't been an EIS completed.
I thought you just said didn't you just?
No, because he's going through the CUP minor route. So you only need an
But even-
EIS with
yeah.
this CUP major. Although, I
Correct.
mean,
Right.
he should be required to complete one. They haven't been required so far. So that's
Yeah,
what
but-
another
yeah.
asset we're making of DPP in the testimony.
Okay, but even with a CUP, we can still get a copy of it. Any
Right.
documentation.
Right. No, we
Yeah.
have that documentation.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
And Chair, just
So I'll
one
be
more.
giving you-
Just one more piece of information. It should be noted that the Army Corps of Engineers, DLNR, and there was one more federal agency, I think it was the EPA, they have not been brought into this conversation. And the reason that I bring up the Army Corps of Engineers is because anytime there is work done in or around a waterway, whether it be the ocean, a stream, a lake, the Army Corps of Engineers has a responsibility to the general public to do their due diligence for projects such as this. So I think, you know, if you're out there and you want to send an email out to DPP, include the Army Corps of Engineers, include the EPA, and again, hold steadfast. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions at this point? Seeing none. So Representative, I'll probably give you a call this week and go over a
Okay.
few things when you have some time. Thank you
Sounds
very
good.
much for that.
Anytime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone, we're going to go into board business at this point. Letter A is approve of minutes. Do you have a motion to accept the regular meetings? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so Joe first and TJ second. All in favor to accept the minutes of Monday, May 19th, 2025? We do a roll call on that. Good, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Please use your microphone when I call your name. Board Member Charisma.
Pardon?
Board Member
Oh, thank
Charisma.
you. I approve.
Board Member Francher.
Approve.
Board Member Harvest.
Aye.
Board Member Umaki online.
Yes.
Board Member Yamamoto.
Yes.
And Chair Ishikawa.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Thank you very much. Call for disclosures by board members, any meetings or any events that you attended that you need to disclose?
Chair Ishikawa.
Yes, go ahead.
I attended that meeting on June 3rd at Wahiawā High School regarding the Mauna Ka'ala development.
Okay, thank you.
Mahalo.
Any other Michelle, did you attend anything? No, okay. I'm going to take that as a no. Okay. Thank you very much, board. Correspondence and distribution, we received that today. So moving on to item C, committee reports, education. Sylvia is on the mainland. Military, no report. Joe for AMPO.
No report.
Thank you. And water, well, we have, can I combine it with what we just talked about? So water, I will be in contact with Representative Peruso to discuss Mount Ka'ala, the issue up there. Hawaiian Affairs, Dean, any report? None? Okay, announcements. The only announcement we have is next board meeting, the next Wahiawā-Whitmore Village Neighborhood Board number 26 meeting will be on Monday, July 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Wahiawa District Park's Halikoa Meeting Room. Please check the website for any updates on possible meeting changes schedule. And information contacts, the City Streets Pothole Hotline 808-768-7777. The State Streets Pothole Hotline 808-536-7852. The Hart Maintain Roads Pothole Hotline 808-566-2299. The city's Refuge Inspector's Office 808-768-5220. The Schofield Noise Complaints Line 808-656-3487. And Public Affairs Office number is 808-655-4756. And with that, if everyone, can we give another round of applause and a big mahalo to our brother Dean.
Good luck, Terry. Good luck.
And with that,
To my replacement, good luck.
and with that, we are adjourned. 9:19.